Okay, YouTube. This is going to be a knife fighting series, I think. Well, definitely a series because I'm not going to fit everything into one video. And this is video one, the basics. What knives to look for, what size to look for. I might get into grip and that stuff actually. What knives to look out for, and training to look for and to stay away from. Now, I do want to state that anybody carrying a knife with any intentions or thought of possibly ever having to use it in a self-defense mode should take a class. But this is for those that might not want to take the class and want a little bit more knowledge, or that can't afford the class at this time, or whatever. I do strongly suggest you take a class, and I am not held responsible. I take no responsibility for anything you do, as in hurting yourself or someone else, from this video. Now, why would you carry a knife? Some people don't want to carry a gun, can't carry a gun. Almost everybody does carry a knife every day. And if you're carrying a gun, what happens if somebody grabs at your gun and you need to defend yourself? A knife is a much better option. So what we got here are a few of my knives, and I think they represent a good I have more knives, but I think these represent good positive and negative knives to look at, and we're going to go over these to look at to see what's good and bad. So ideally, you do want a fixed blade, and all but this buck red point here are fixed blades. But some people do like to carry folders. I do not have a tactical folder here. Now, a tactical folder wouldn't be too bad, like a Cold Steel Espada Large. That would be pretty effective. But generally, for your money, for weight, size, blah, blah, a fixed blade is going to do you much better. So a little folder, like this one, if you had to use it, you could. Not recommended. Also, I do want to say, when knife for self-defense, never get a serrated blade. This knife right here was bought for a work knife, and that's what it is. Now, will this work for a backup of a self-defense knife? Yes. But if it's a dedicated self-defense knife, never have serrated edges. Why? Why, do you ask? Well, the reason is that serrations will bounce on skin. They'll dig in and then bounce out, and then dig in and then bounce out, and what it does is it doesn't cut very deep. And on clothing, first of all, slashes into clothing are actually quite ineffective, but they're even more ineffective with serrations, because the same thing will happen on the clothing, and it just will never even penetrate the skin, or a very, very shallow cut to the skin. So stay away from serrations for a dedicated self-defense blade. And also, if it's a folder, it should have a good one-handed operating system. Another thing to stay away from are daggers. Okay? Why stay away from daggers? Well, they do stab very well. And I know there's a lot of different daggers, but this is just my representative of a dagger. This is a Smith & Wesson boot knife. They stab well, but they do not cut well. Whereas something like a Bowie style knife, or something I'll show you later, will stab almost as well as this and cut 10 times better than this. So stay away from daggers, okay? No need for a dagger. There is knife fighting techniques that use daggers, but it is in the technique is you use this alongside a more traditional knife, and it's a weird style. You'll never need to do it in a defensive role. So, and another thing to stay away from, with all your life, stay away from karambits, kukris. If it's, I don't mean to sound prejudiced or anything, but if it's Asian or African, pretty good chance you shouldn't use it. If you can go down to a karate class or an Asian martial arts class and learn that knife, probably not the best knife to use, okay? This knife is worthless in a self-defense situation. no matter how trained you are. Is it better than nothing? As in better than your fists? Yeah, but not by much. This might be more effective as kind of a knuckle duster than a knife, actually. You can't stab well with this, and then if you watch my future videos, you will physically see why it won't work, because my other videos aren't going to be this kind of tabletop thing. This is just the basics. I will get into actual techniques, and you'll see why these are worthless. So now this, I don't even know why I got this one out, but a smaller fixed blade. Is this ideal? No. This isn't an ideal knife. So we'll just put that away. We'll leave that at that. That's a hunting knife. Anyways. Now this, of the knives I own, this is the most ideal. And this one will serve you well also. You have that Bowie clip point blade shape. Yeah. It's very sharp. This is a buck 119 for those of you who don't know or haven't watched my other videos. This will serve you very well. Very good steel, very good sharp. It's awesome. And it'll cost you anywhere from $35 to $55 depending on where you live and how old this video is. Another good one, K-bar. K-bars are excellent. Again, get a plain edge though. No serrations if you're doing this. Yeah, K-bars would do you well. You know, if you get a K-bar, maybe get the one with the composite handles, not the leather stacked handles. Unless you live in a very dry climate, then leather stacks, might not do you so bad. But so K-bars are good. The SOG Bowie looks really nice, and the SOG Operator. And there's some other ones out there. That's not it, but those are some good examples of knives. Look those up. And then if you see a reputable knife maker have a similar design, that would probably work well for a self-defense knife. Okay, so I'm gonna get some of these. I'm gonna get these crappier knives out of here. Okay. So now let's get on to grip. Now this has something to do with why I started this video, or why I'm going to do these videos, and that's because I see all these gun guys on here, and they always mention that they would use a knife in self-defense if they had to, but they always hold the knife wrong. And if you're holding the knife wrong, I can guarantee you the rest of your skills are lacking. Yeah, and then I decided to just search YouTube. I typed right into the YouTube bar, knife fighting. And there was one guy that was kind of alright, but most part they were all kind of crappy. And so this is where this comes into play. The grip, this is what started it all. Now, you see a lot of people like to hold it like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, and kind of tuck it into their forearm. I'll probably go over those again when I do a stand-up video, and actually you can see how it responds to my body. Now there are only two ways you should hold a knife for self-defense. That's it. Two ways. You got this one, where you make it fist, and the blade runs right along my knuckles there. See how that works? The blade runs right along those knuckles. So there's one. Keep your thumb tucked in, not on the back of the blade. Tucked in. Why? Because if you're knife fighting against somebody that has another knife, there's a good chance you will get your hand cut. And if it's out here like that, there's a good chance that they will greatly damage your thumb. And then once your thumb's taken out of the fight, you can barely hold on to that knife. Okay, so you keep your thumb tucked in, like you're just like a fist. Okay. And then for reverse grip, same thing. Tuck that in. Blade is running along the same knuckles. And then also you do not pull it in like that. You keep that 90-degree angle. Why? Because there are effective techniques in holding it in a reverse grip, but as soon as you pull that in to your forearm, all those advantages of that grip go away. Okay? You want to keep it open. So there is part one of this. There will be more to come. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you learn some. And definitely, if you're serious about this, you should go out and actually find a good teacher and follow his instructions, even if they differ from mine slightly. If they differ from mine a lot, if you see an instructor that differs from my thoughts and techniques drastically, especially the ones that I will show you in upcoming videos, you probably shouldn't go with that guy, okay? Yeah, and stay away from the Asian martial arts. Their knife defense and defense against knives are complete crap. And yeah, and if you're gonna come in here rolling about how you took karate forever and you could kick my ass and all that good stuff, just go away. You're stupid. Nobody cares. I understand you committed a lot of time of your life to learning that, but in a real world situation, it is completely moot, and you die if you went to a karate school or eskrama or kendo, keto, ninjutsu, you know, all the other ones. The ones that use karambits a lot. What use karambits a lot? Hapkido. Hapkido uses karambits a lot. All those are worthless. Every aspect of them are actually worthless, but especially when it comes to knives. And again, this is a defense video. If you want a karambit because it looks cool, then go out and buy a karambit because it looks cool. But don't carry it. Don't expect to actually use it, because then you're an idiot. Okay? If you want to buy a boot knife because it looks cool, or you want to keep, or like a backup knife. This would work alright for a backup knife. Like a backup of a backup knife. You know, have something like this, and then have this in your boot, you know, if you want. But don't depend your life on this knife. Definitely not this knife. This knife is a piece of shit. All karambits are pieces of shit. So, there you go.